Welcome to another edition of OMT TV. In this episode, we're going to discuss the graphic design communication request workflow process and how it relates to marketing and how they interact with the document library and with the help desk request for the graphic design system. What we're looking at right now is the main graphic design request page that everyone sees. There is one part of this that is only available for marketing staff, and that is this link right here that says workflow documentation. So I'm going to open this link in a new tab in my browser. This document outlines all 13 possible statuses that a graphic design request can have. There are the statuses here in this middle column, email notification information in the far right column, and the action sequences in the left column. And for each status, documentation exists in here for how to proceed. At the end of the document, I want to call your attention to the basic instructions for the FLMNH Communications Request Document Library. This is for upload and download, and these steps will be followed pretty much in every interaction that is had with the Communication Request Document Library. So you would want to make yourself familiar with this. What we're going to look at today is we're going to come into the middle of this process, and we'll follow a few steps through so you can see how marketing would interact with this. So in this process, from initial user submission, marketing would review the initial content that was submitted. When marketing has approved that content, graphics is notified. So we're going to assume now that graphic design has started. When they are at a point where either it is completed or they're at a first draft, they will upload their content to the document library, put it in the appropriate folder, which is named for the request number. They would then set the status to under review by marketing, and that is what we see in this particular status right here. And that's pretty much what this says here. So when this would happen, everyone with the marketing role would receive an email, and the email would look like this one. You've got the request number, you've got the status, previous status, and the current updated status. You also have links here to go to the Communications Request Document Library and to the request. So we're going to open the Communications Request Document Library by clicking on the link in a new tab. This is going to ask for a login, and since I'm using wireless, I have to put UFAD in front. Once logged into the SharePoint site, I click on the Communications Request Document Library. This is the folder. It's got the name for the request that I'm dealing with, so I'm going to click on it. That's not what I meant to do. I just meant to open it. At this particular time, I see a document here. This is the document that I will be downloading. To download a document, you click on the checkbox to the left of the document. You move your mouse over. When you see this little drop-down arrow, the first thing you will do is check the document out. This does several things. It creates a new version of the document. It locks the document and lets everyone know who has checked it out. This prevents any kind of cross-editing, that sort of thing. Once the document has been checked out, and also notice this little green icon at the lower right here, that also designates that it's checked out in addition to this. Once I've checked the document out, if I check that checkbox, I make sure I'm in the Documents tab, I can download a copy of the document. That downloads it to my local system where I can review it, make edits, post sticky notes. When I am finished with the review of the document, I can upload this document back to the SharePoint site. And this process is pretty much the reverse of what we did to download it. I can click on Upload Document. And what I wish to do here is make sure a couple of things. This checkbox, Add as a new version to existing files, needs to be checked. I need to also make sure that the file that I choose to upload is not only the same file I was editing, but also has the same file name. And this is needed to ensure correct versioning. So by clicking on this, I find the file. I have now uploaded it. I can put my comments, and I click the OK button. I'm going to get one more dialog box. This box will let me save it into the document library, and also it should automatically check it in for me. So when I hit save, we will notice that it is no longer checked out. The little green corner icon is not here. My name is not here. The document is now checked back in. So the next step that I would have is to go to the graphic design work request, and I can come back to my email and I can click to open that work request. And I now have the work request. Here is the request number. And I am going to change the status, in this case, to under review by client, because that will send an email to the client to then look at the changes that I just made. And this will work us through the process. Let me find the workflow document again. Client then would take a look at everything, and when they are finished reviewing the document, they will change the status to client review complete, which will send an email to marketing and to the designers. In a later episode, we will cover more parts of the graphic request and communication system. Thank you for watching OMT TV.